All right, guys, it is story time. So I um have had like a few experiences that have taught me an important lesson that I want to teach to everyone else. Um, this happened to me in Argentina on my mission. I served a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I taught the gospel to people, to anyone that would listen. I tried to teach them about Jesus Christ and help them to receive blessings that everyone should have. Anyway, in the process of doing so, you learn how temptation works. So Satan is the enemy of God, an enemy of righteousness, enemy of all the good things that we're looking to attain and achieve. Satan is trying to stop all of it, and he has the ability given to him from God, by the way, which is an interesting thing. Um, is that Satan can tempt us, as in whisper things to us, mislead us and guide us away from God, only so that we can learn to distinguish his voice from God's voice. Obviously, God's voice is more powerful and stronger, but Satan's voice is louder and weaker. It's an interesting relationship. You just got to think about it, understand it yourself through your own study of the scriptures and prayer. But anyway, Satan will do his best to tempt us and lead us to do things that are wrong, or to stop us from becoming something that God needs us to become. So on the mission, it's I still remember it so clearly. But anyway, so you walk, especially if you're serving in another country. If you serve in the United States, you get a car and stuff, you can drive around. But in Argentina, everything was on foot. I would walk miles and miles and miles every day. And what happens is that you get so tired, or at least you feel like you're tired. You're hot, sweaty, and all you can think about is that feeling that you would have if you just jumped in the pool, if you're able to, I don't know, eat like some nice fruit, swim in the pool, have some nice food, and have a party. Um, and this thought is just like a reoccurring thought every time it's a hot day. The only thing you can think about that can give you like that feeling in your mind of peace and whatever is like just jumping in the pool. That crystal water is like so beautiful, so nice. um what I came to realize is that was Satan doing his best to distract me, because he knows that if the people that God has prepared were to receive his message and decide to change their lives, he would never ever again be able to have a hold on them. That they would be free, they would be saved. And so what he did is, instead of, he like there was no way, like literally the saying is so funny, no way in hell, no way in hell that he would be able to actually stop me, from, or like I guess turn me from the light that I was walking in to turn then to darkness. Like that's too much, too drastic of a change for me to make. What he could do is tempt me to be less effective, to tempt me to lose focus. And so he put this false image in my head. By the way, I was reassigned after 10 and a half months. COVID happened and we were all sent home. And what you learn quick is that when you're not in the mission and you go home, life is so boring. And that image in my head of the crystal clear water, of the cool, refreshing effect it would have on my hot and tired body, all that was fake. It was a mirage. And what Satan does is that he tempts us in these ways to make us less effective when we're trying to do what's right and we're trying to do what God is planning for us. So, to bring this around, to use this example, I'm going to talk about dating and marriages and stuff. The cool stuff that we're all trying to get good at. So, when it comes to dating and marriage, there's obviously a goal in mind. And this might be surprising to some people, but the more I think about it, the more I've come to this conclusion that marriage has the sole purpose. If you were to give it one main purpose, the purpose is for a man and a woman to create a healthy and stable family, to raise children that will be a benefit to society. That is the purpose of marriage, and it's not to be happy. And that is the statement I think that is most shocking to people that haven't really thought about it, is that marriage is not for happiness. That's not the purpose of marriage. And many people will try and say that that's wrong or whatever. It's like everyone's entitled to their opinion, but if you think about it logically and separate your emotions from the logic, everyone wants happiness. Everyone wants those blessings of peace, tranquility, that crystal clear water. And the reality of it, you ask anyone that's married, that has been married for a while, is that there's a lot of other crap that comes with marriage. Not saying that it's not for, that's not the best, like, not, I'm not saying it's not the decision you should make. It's 100% what everyone should go for. Having a happy marriage, a stable marriage, is the most fulfilling thing in this life, I think, in this existence. But that's not to say that it's going to be happy all the time. That's not to say that you're not going to have struggles, you're not going to have heartache, you're not going to have moments of panic, distress, moments of sadness and grief, moments of every single emotion that you can think of. You're probably going to experience during your marriage and with your family. But that's not to say that you wouldn't feel these emotions in other ways being alone. That's why marriage is so important, is because you're going to go through these things regardless, but you need to do it with someone that can support you. And so what Satan is doing, I'm going to expose him so that you guys can all see how much of a bitch he is. Satan is tempting us all by putting this image in our head of a perfect marriage, a marriage where all of our needs are met and fulfilled, where we don't have to worry or stress, where everything is going to melt into perfect blissfulness. The way it's going to happen is so far from that. The reality is that marriage will be the biggest struggle of your life, even more so. Like the closer we get to the end of the world, the crazier things become, the harder life will be, and that's just the fact. Sorry to break it to you if you thought your life was going to be amazing. You're gonna have blessings, but your life will actually not be as amazing as you thought it would be. Depending on what your standard is. If your standard is to serve the Lord and to do good, you will have a good life. If you thought you were going to be happy for the rest of your life and have so much success, prosperity, all these things, you're probably wrong. The world is coming to an end, and that's a fact. So we, as a people, we have to realize that this mirage of this perfect marriage, this perfect situation, it's not going to play out exactly that way. What's going to happen is that we're going to suffer, but the Lord will bless us with these blessings that will make up the difference, that will make us feel His love, that will make us feel that happiness. I'm not saying happiness isn't real. I'm not saying that there's no joy in marriage. I'm saying that it comes with a lot of other things. The reason why there's so many divorces happening, and the reason why so many people are unsatisfied with their relationships, the reason why most people actually do not enter into relationships or cannot hold down a stable relationship in 2022 is because of this false image we have in our head of what it's going to be like. And due to our perception of this false reality, our actions are then subsequently leading us into harm's way and leading us to have less success in the future. Let me explain. In our Western culture, in our society, we are being taught that it's okay to have many relationships, to look around, to find that one person that is made for us, that will make us happy. And what we do inadvertently, without trying to, is that we date around and we're conditioning ourselves, practicing to get into things and get out of things when things get hard and when things are what's the word? Like not up to our expectations. So what happens is that you get into a relationship and you stay in that relationship on the condition that you will be happy. And what we're being told by society, again, that's Satan, is that as soon as you're not happy, you have a reason to leave. You have a reason to end it. You have a reason to stop this trajectory you're on. What happens is that after so many relationships, like whatever number you want to think of, the value of each relationship decreases because you've already experienced the good, and that wasn't enough to keep you in it. Basically, you're looking for so much more than what is actually possible to receive from like no person is perfect, and you have to understand this. you have to understand that life is not what the movies and the TV shows say it is. Basically, you have to realize that um, that in every relationship, no matter what, there will be bumps in the road. And after the first sign of bumps, you can't just call it quits. And the more you do this, the more you're preparing for that first marriage you have to end in divorce. The statistics are these, as far as I remember. So basically, like the rate of divorce for first marriages is like at 50% or a little bit under, and then the rate of divorce actually increases by each time you have a marriage. Each subsequent marriage, the rate of divorce goes up, the likelihood of it ending in divorce. So by the second marriage, it's like up at 60 something percent. By the third marriage, it's 70 something percent, and more until basically it's just a guarantee. Obviously, statistics don't determine your outcome, but statistics are the outcome of the general population. And so, anyway, the first marriage on average in America will end after 8 years. 8 years is like literally so little. You've heard of stories of people being married for 60, 70 years. Um, Imagine all the literal hell they've been through together, and they're still like in that relationship. Um, 8 years is not enough time to go through so many experiences. And anyway, it's a sign that as a society, as a culture, we are unwilling to forgive people. We are unwilling to, obviously. So let me clear that up by saying that domestic violence and abuse, adultery, and other things like those forms of abuse are like are reasons that in my mind, reasons enough to end a relationship and a marriage. But there's other reasons. The most common reasons that are listed in statistics and research for divorces to happen are not abuse. Literally, they're financial struggles and reasons like that, loss of respect for each other, inability to cohabitate, live together, all these dumb reasons that could be fixed, but people choose not to fix them. Anyway, I'm like losing myself, but just like I don't want to go too far into that because I'm trying to talk about like how best to go about dating in 2022. So let me finish with this before I get too far down that road. The way that we need to do this, the way we counteract all this evil that's going on that's trying to thwart God's plan. We know that God wants to create families that create children that go on to be like leaders that go on to be benefits to society that lift us up as a whole. Our children are the answer to all of our problems. We maybe inherited a world that was not in the best condition. We inadvertently made it worse because of our mistakes. Our children are the ones that are going to have to deal with that, right? So it's like it's our responsibility to raise them in a situation that will be as good can be, and God will bless us and help us to make up for our mistakes. So to create that scenario where marriage will thrive, where it will last, is we have to condition ourselves to date in a different way than what society has taught us. This might be shocking to some people. My belief is that you should never enter into a relationship with a person if you do not have the intention of marrying that person. And that's like, whoa, what the heck? Like, how's that gonna work? Basically, if you do not know this person and you have no reason to assume that they're going to provide a benefit to you, like in terms of that cohabitation of creating children, then why would you even spend time with them in the first place? It's just a proven fact due to like all the polling and whatever stuff. I've researched this a lot, but like most relationships, like first of all, it's even getting to the point where a third of people, I think at least a third, are not even attempting to be in relationships at this point. The people that are in relationships are like a smaller percentage than what they used to be. Even those even less than half of those people are even getting married, and that's where the like it keeps getting like smaller and smaller and smaller to like where the people that are in the successful relationships are like literally the smallest percentage of the population. So obviously we're doing something wrong. That's why I say like this is my ideology. My advice is to talk to as many people as you can possibly talk to. Get out there, be social, meet people, because you should never commit yourself to someone before you know what the other options are. That will only make you unhappy, and also that will make you compromise your own relationship by then meeting someone that you think is a better option and having to end that relationship. Every time you end a relationship, it's the same as with marriage. Every relationship you end decreases your likelihood of having a good marriage. That's just the fact. And so talk to as many people as possible and get to know people. And as soon as you like, this is where you rely on God. God has to be the one. There's no other way, no other way to know. God has to be the one that indicates to you that that's this certain person is good enough for you. That's the person you should pursue. Once you receive that communication from God, it's up to you to act, and you have to initiate a relationship. I'm speaking mostly to men here, but anyway, women too, if you want to, you can tell a man you love him and see how he reacts. Anyway, once you decide that you want to join forces, basically Power Rangers, you want to team up, it's with the intention of getting married. You don't do it just to be in a relationship, to have a boyfriend, have a girlfriend. You do it to be married. And you have to trust in God that He chose that person for you, and that you're gonna love them. And so that's just it. Some precautions that you have to take, especially as a man. My thinking is never be alone with a woman until you are in a committed relationship that will end in marriage. If you do not have a commitment from a girl, you have no way of ensuring that she's not going to violate you, as in make a false accusation against you, take away all of your livelihood, take away your job from you, your college education, your career path. You cannot make sure of that, at least in any safe way, outside of getting her commitment to you. Your commitment to her is your time, your resources, your energy, resources being like spending money and stuff. She should have none of that. She should have access to none of that until she's committed. And because by I think anyway, I don't see any possible way outside of that of determining that that's like a worthy expenditure. Like, how are you gonna get, what's the risk to reward ratio? How are you gonna get a reward out of a girl that's not even like committed to you? You spend money on her, talk to her, give her attention and time, and all of a sudden, like, she may not like do you dirty like I'm talking about, but she might just like stop talking to you, and all of a sudden you've lost valuable time you could have used to do something productive. So anyway, that's my safe dating strategy for you guys, is to never be alone with a girl, never spend time with a girl, never give her attention, resources, energy until you have that commitment. And once you decide that it's time to commit, you have to commit. And women too, if you are in a relationship with a guy, understand that it should not be for any other reason than marriage. And if you do have another reason besides marriage, it's probably a self-centered reason, honestly, and it's not going to work out well. I hope I got out all the ideas that I was trying to get out. To keep it real with you guys, never gonna lie to you. This video I had to record. I had to, over and over again. I had to try like 5 times to make sure I got I guess the most important stuff out. I'm really good at mentioning random details, random facts, and things like that might be distracting or might derail the conversation. So I hope this is the one. I hope this is the one that got it all out. Anyway, I hope that God blesses you all, my brethren and sister in the gospel. I hope you guys all do great I hope that you find that special someone. Hope you find your honey boo boo. In the meantime, God bless. Have a good one.